Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with another Path of Exile, a video build guide suggestion for 3.14 Ultimatum! Okay, I'm just trying to have fun with the introductions or intros to these videos now, because it's getting a bit fucking broken record levels on these now. Anyways, this one is a Coldslinger Occultist, very similar to the Vortex character, but in this one we are slinging, well, spell slinging our abilities. This has been, in my opinion, one of the better ways to level the Vortex build, but it's also possible to play as for the endgame version. And therefore, we made a separate build guide for this build, and it is definitely something that you can play in the upcoming 3.14 Ultimatum League. The build itself is very straightforward. It has a little bit of a tap playstyle to it, as you right-click with your spell sling ability, in this case being the Power Siphon, and then left click directly after to pop your movement skill, which is also using Vortex. So in the gameplay footage you see in the background here where we died was me testing extremely low budget end game bosses, which was absolutely terrible. This build is in lower budget states, mainly there for clearing, and is not that good when it comes to end game bossing, which is what I wanted to try out for this build and show in the build guide video. So as you can see in the build here, it is lacking a lot of single target compared to its other version, which is self-casting Vortex, which completely shits on bosses. This was absolutely terrible when it comes to bossing in general. Let's see if we have any clearing footage around here. Seems to have some here. When it comes to clearing, however, it does extremely well. As you can see with the tap playstyle, you see how I'm casting a right click and then doing a sidestep. Instead of going into enemies, what's very important with this build is that you don't rush into them. So you see this pack here, I'm going straight into it. The playstyle we determined here, so you can see I'm taking a lot of extra damage, which I'm also showing in this video, which is why I'm doing it. The playstyle you should be doing is sidestepping around the enemies. So instead of going straight into them, I'm going to show you here, for example, this pack here. Instead of going this way into the pack, you would right click, and then when you click the left click to pop the Vortex, you would circle around the pack instead. Get the loot, and you do the same thing on the next pack. So if you can see here on the next content pack of enemies, I'll show you the same thing here. See, I'm standing right on top of a rare, which is not what you're supposed to do. In this case, I would right click and then move to the side. Instead, I am still moving forward, which is not the way you're supposed to play the build. And I was showing this in the video to show that you're taking an unnecessary amount of damage by playing this way, as the build is not a tanky build, and it's not supposed to be able to be tanky. So basically your playstyle dictates a lot, and you see how we died just to show you this type of playstyle. I do believe we did it differently on the next one just to show you the differences. So the gameplay footage here will show you as how we're sidestepping enemies instead. And as you can see in our EHP pool, we are taking a significantly less amount of damage, and here suddenly the build is actually really good. So it's a bit tweaky, and you have to actually keep in mind with how you're playing the build to avoid taking these damages, because the defensive layers for this build is slowing enemies down while still having a bunch of layers of defense for the build, allowing you to actually not be one shot for the most part unless you're doing extremely hard content. So what this build is doing is promoting a specific playstyle to make sure that you're able to play it in a proper way. And if you're playing it in an incorrect way, you're going to die a lot with this build. But like I said, the other version of this is the self-cast Vortex, which is really good for single target and actually super tanky. This is the clear speed version of this. However, if you do push into to the higher budget with this, you can go low life with this and actually get that tankiness up, as well as significant increasement of damage output, making this build extremely good for the high budget approaches. But my build guides always focus on low budget, and this is being promoted in this video because I believe that this is going to be a very good League Starter build for 3.14, especially because of the fact that we've barely seen anything that touches this build in terms of nerfs. And I know I sound like a broken record, but do please give me some feedback in the comments sections about the new format we're doing for these videos, so that me and my editor Kikis can get that feedback for future videos in this channel. The build guide covers everything that you'll ever need to know. There is a link to my Cold Snap Vortex build guide in this guide as well. And in the gearing section, there will be a link here to my crafting guides, which you can utilize to learn how to craft for basic 101 items, as well as some generic basic craft suggestions that you can learn to use as well as advanced targeting specific higher budget crafting processes as well, so you can learn to craft in these guides as well. And that's basically all I have to say about the build. It is requiring you to play it in a very specific way, which the build guide does focus on bringing up to the table so you get the information. I felt that in a video like this, I had to mention that for you guys. And if you do decide to play something like this, do let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, subscribe for more content. Until next time, stay safe and keep rocking.